another Friday. Yes, I am filming this same time as Thursday because I'm here at the studio and we gotta take advantage of this opportunity. So there we were, Friday of the men's hike. If you watched last week, you know where I'm at. If you haven't watched last week, stop this, go watch it, come back. All right, here we go. So it's Friday morning of the men's hike. And of course we're up early, we've got to hit the trail. This is going to be a fantastic, stupendous day on the trail. And we get to do, what was it, Heartbreak Ridge. And if you've never done Heartbreak Ridge, it about goes like this, up one side, and then what goes up has to go down. And I mean, there are points on the trail where you can stand on the trail and touch the trail in front of you with your hand. It's almost like a ladder. And staircase to heaven style. So we are all amped up for a full day on the trail. I think we did about 7.5 miles on Friday. Don't quote me on that. Someone else might be able to chime in with a specific mileage. But I digress to say that we're up early, we have breakfast around the fire, we get our hammocks, because I was sleeping in a hammock. Some guys did do the tents, but packed up the hammocks, packed up the tarps, packed up the sleeping bags, packed up our packs. And then a distinction that still rings true for me now is we gather around, Paxon. It means put your backpack on, strap up, get ready to hike, because we're rolling out. And I would say that Friday is the day that distinction was really born. Because Thursday, of course, went pretty smooth, but Friday, there were some war wounds from Thursday in the form of foot blisters. So some of the guys on the team, I'm not going to name names, but some of the guys on the team had kind of a rough start on Friday with some foot blisters needing to be bandaged up. So there we were, getting ready to start the day, and of course they brought a lot of it. I say they, the leaders of the hike, brought a lot of intention into how we did our hike. And so we would stop periodically and either have a lesson or have a question that sparked some thought, and then we were given a silent hike to really ponder this question or how we could apply these things to our personal lives. And on Friday we did silent hikes alone, where you're just hiking by yourself. You can't see anybody in front of you, can't see anyone behind you. It's just, in my situation, me out in the woods, walking at a casual pace. There's nowhere to get to. It's just me enjoying my surroundings and pondering certain questions. And it was on Friday that I realized a lot of the slavery, to piggyback on last week, a lot of the slavery came in the form of verbally being told who I am, or verbally being put down for in trying to be put into a box of the way that someone views me. And very specifically talking about Ruth, and not to say anything negative about her, but she's the mother of my kids. And I just realized that for so long I've lived with frustration in the, trying to be a dad, but alongside her being mom, and the whole situation, and her almost hardly ever being happy with me, and just feeling like nothing I ever do is good enough. And then noticing where I was looking for affirmation from her, when in fact I was meant for more. And that, like, I know who I am. And why would I look for affirmation from somebody who is trying to tell me that I'm somebody different, and not for the better? And so I really found a lot in those silent hikes on Friday, and realized that maybe I've been playing small because I've been listening to the wrong voices. And I've been fighting to use last week's analogy, I've been fighting the person arguing with him, going, I'm not a gladiator, you don't understand, I'm a general, I lead an army, I was supposed to get the throne, they stole it away from me, it's not fair. That's been me for the last couple of years, and obviously it hasn't gotten me anywhere. And just as in the movie The Gladiator, it didn't get him anywhere. He would have gained nothing by taking that approach. He would have been put in a crazy house or seen as a threat. I don't know, but it obviously wouldn't have played out the same way. And so I realized I need not play to that level. I need not even worry about defending myself. I need not pay it any attention, because let somebody come at me and say, yeah, you're just a gladiator, you're just a slave, you need to just focus on surviving, you're not going to ever accomplish anything more. Freedom? No, sorry, that's something you can dream about. No, it's definitely not. It's real, it's tangible, and the only way to realize it is to realize that that's what I'm meant for. And I'm telling you this with the hopes that you can see yourself or your situation in my story, and hopefully provide access to freedom for yourself. And so we were tasked with picking up a rock about the size of our fist or size of our hand at some point on the day before we rolled into camp. And I'm walking down the trail on my silent hike, and I'm pondering how much judgment I've really brought into relationships with people and conversations with the world, and how it has not served me. And I realized I don't necessarily want to live with that. It doesn't serve me. It doesn't help me get where I'm going, and it doesn't serve the big picture. So I kind of figured that the rock was going to represent something, and that, like, a letting go. I'm assuming this, and I didn't know. But right around the time that I was discovering all that, there's one rock on the entire stretch of trail that I did for my silent hike. Is maybe 1/10 of a mile was the silent hike. And I found one rock that wasn't like a pebble in that whole stretch, and it came to me at the exact time that I was having these thoughts. So I bent down and I picked it up, put it in my pack, and carried it with me. And to find out what I did with that rock and what actually came from that rock, you're going to want to tune in on day 4 of this for the Sunday episode. So a little teaser there, because that is a cool, that was a pivoting point for me. But I digress from that to say that we continued the hike, and we got to the end of the silent hike. We broke for lunch, and we had to retape up some blisters and repackage some feet into their boots. I don't wear boots for that reason. I just wear tennis shoes because they're more comfortable. But so thankfully my feet were fine, but they were definitely, my body was getting stiff from all the stop and go. And this was a great opportunity to learn a new distinction. So there's one guy on our team who was really having a difficult time with a lot of pain in his feet in the form of blisters and just rubbing shoes and wasn't a good situation for him, and so we had to take a lot of breaks and let him either resituate or rest, and especially on Heartbreak Ridge where we just like go right up the Black Diamond. And I got to the top of that ridge and we literally sat down for about an hour at the top waiting on the rest of the team to get there. And I say we because there were maybe 6 of us that were at the front of the pack. And so the lead trail boss, which was Kohler, he stopped us from going any further, and we just stopped at the top of the ridge. And I was able to sit there, take my backpack off, rest the shoulders, cool the body, which might sound great, but it wasn't great. Because just sitting there for an hour, like Indian style, talking with Jeff about life, talking about the things that I'm learning and growing through, and the journey that's gotten me to this point. I'm opening up, I'm being completely vulnerable, I'm sharing where I've messed up, I'm sharing where I've succeeded, and just all the things. But it's really cool to be able to build relationships with these guys along the way. And I've got another story about Jeff in a little bit that involves some more comical side of the trip. But I would say this was a solidifying point for the Paxon. Like this, after sitting down for an hour and letting my body completely cool, my muscles are tight. Like if you've ever done a solid gym workout and then you later in the day, like you're kind of sore, you're tight, but you're not using your muscles. They've rested. They're trying to recover. That was me, except 2 full days of exercising, and now my body is like, all right, it's time to rest. So we get up, Kohler like, Paxon, 5 minutes. Like we're rolling out in 5 minutes. And that kind of became a joke. Paxon, 5 minutes. But for me, Paxon was like, all right, I don't really want to hike. My body is done. My body is telling me it's time to rest. My body is telling me, no, not more. I thought we were done. You totally fooled me with this rest time. And so Paxon means there's more to go. And even though you don't feel like doing it, we can't stop here. We must continue. I must continue. So I developed this distinction, Paxon. And for those of you who have heard the thing, like where you don't feel motivated to do something, just count it down and then go do it. Just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm doing it. Like, Paxon, 5 minutes. Paxon, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're doing it. So take that with you. Apply that for yourself in life. But Paxon, for me, has rang so true in the last 2-3 weeks since getting back from the hike, because there have been so many moments where I've just wanted to surrender. I've just wanted to go, no, really? You're gonna make me go and perform again in a gladiator ring, or you're gonna make me go fight again? I don't feel like it. There've been so many moments where I don't feel like it. But I digress from that to say, because we can talk about that at a later time, but I am so thankful for those opportunities to sit and rest on the trail and let my body get acquainted with rest and then force it to go on. Because without those opportunities to go through that I don't want to do it moment, I wouldn't have been able to develop that mindset and that distinction. And it has been very helpful the last couple weeks, like I said. But I think you're due a comedy story. I think you're due a good laugh. So let's talk about Jeff again. Jeff, if you meet him, you're like, who is this guy? Like, he's mystery guy. He's really funny. He's outgoing. He's well spoken, and he's a little, I don't want to say dorky, but like he doesn't have a problem being a cornball. I don't either. So this is my kind of guy. Like we got along pretty well, and we stopped for lunch at the top of a ridge, and Jeff is sitting across the trail from me, and we've got all 16 of us lined down the trail. And it's like, put your pack down, use it as a chair, or pull out your camp chair, or just sit on the ground. We're all kind of lined up on either end of the trail, or either side of the trail. And Jeff just happens to be across from me. And, we packed power bars and granola and beef jerky and dried fruit for our lunches. And we're all breaking into those. And Jeff's getting into his, I'm getting into mine, enjoying some trail mix and some beef jerky. And I'm not paying attention to what others are eating until Jeff says, man, this, and he's ripping open a power bar, a Go energy bar, and he's ripping it open and he takes his first bite and he goes, oh man, this thing is tough. And like, I don't like some of those bars because they really are tough. He goes, tastes like boot leather. And Jeff's just being his corny self, and I'm like, oh, that's creative. Yeah, I bet it does taste like boot leather. And like some of those bars aren't so good. And so he's like, yeah, this is what I brought for lunch. Peels the wrapper back, he takes another bite. It's not boot leather. It's more like dog food. And I can't help but laugh because I'm sitting across the trail and nonchalantly I'm like, well, what if it is dog food? Just thinking, how stupid would that be? And he's like, Peels the wrapper back, he's still chewing. Peels the wrapper. So there's a reason for the taste. He turns the wrapper around. There's a little emblem of a dog and it says dog treat on the front. I lost it. So did half the guys listening. And then very shortly thereafter, you got the guys down at the very end going, wait, what? He became a good sport very shortly thereafter. He's like, yeah, guys, I packed dog treats for my lunch. And it gets better because I didn't just pack them for today. I packed them for my lunch every day. So here's poor Jeff. His lunch consists of dog treats for each day. And he became the butt of many jokes thereafter. But it gets better because we're sitting there talking, we're laughing, we're making fun of the fact that he brought dog treats. And of course, all the curiosity floods in from everybody. Like, how did you bring dog treats? I don't know, have you guys been to REI? And we're like, yeah. Wait a minute, are you gonna still eat that? He goes, yeah, that's what I brought for lunch. I mean, I've already eaten some of it, so that's what I brought. I gotta eat. We're like, dude, we'll share with you. And he's like, no, he did finish his bar. I'm probably quite proud of him. But as the story goes, in line at REI, at the checkout line, waiting his turn, they've got water bottles, keychains, stickers, power bars, Power Go energy bars. And he's like, oh, I need some bars for my trip. Like, I haven't packed any yet. And so he's sitting there waiting in line, and he sees the Go energy bars. He's like, oh, yeah, real salmon. That sounds awesome. Made with real salmon. Cool. He grabs a whole bunch of them, throws them up on the counter, and doesn't think twice about the possibility of them being dog treats until we get out to the trailhead. And so, yes, all the jokes. All the jokes. But Friday was a fun day. Friday was a day of perspection, of growth, of transformation, and lots of laughs. But then Friday evening at the end of our day, I think it took us 10 hours to hike that 7 0.5 miles, so that gives you an idea of the pace that we kept. And that's where constantly stopping, getting cold, rewarming back up became very taxing on the body, and like my body was really tight when we rolled into camp. But we got our sites set up. I set my hammock and canopy up right on this cliff edge overlooking Lake Jocassee. So I had this breeze coming up and right into my little pocket. And as the guys were coming up, they're like, "Oh, this is a perfect spot." I'm like, "Yeah, I thought so too." Like, there's a perfect little cutout in the trees for me to lay in my hammock and be able to look out over the lake. And then did the tarp just right so that if it does rain, I'm covered, but otherwise I can't see anything. I'm protected from everything. And I got a little porch, and I set my little camp chair right there on the edge. I got a full view. It's absolutely beautiful, serene, absolutely beautiful. And this is where I can introduce the King's Hike. These guys came in on a boat to this landing right next to the campsite, and they brought in a grill, coolers. They had a designated campsite there where, like, with a picnic table, set up a whole big fire, folding chairs for everybody to come sit around the fire. And then they grilled the most delicious of barbecue. And then we also had some homemade pie from Dee's wife. And oh my goodness, that meal and dessert and experience, I don't know what heaven's like, but that felt like I have arrived. And after eating Mountain House and granola bars for Thursday and Friday, that hot and very delicious meal, something that'll stick with me. But we sat around the fire, we shared stories, we opened up the vulnerability, the camaraderie, the pouring into each other, and the investing in each other continued until it was past dark. And then we migrated back to our tents and or hammock in my case, and retired for the night. And at this point in time, I realized, looking out across the lake and into the woods, that there were lightning bugs. And I was like, man, I can't remember the last time I saw lightning bugs. And these weren't just any, they weren't your regular lightning bugs where they glow and then they fade and they glow. These guys were just constantly glowing. It looked like there was a sea of fairies out in the woods and the lake. And I mean, I thought I was tripping. Like, I was like, is this real, or am I just super exhausted? Am I delirious? Do I need to go to sleep, or is this real? And others saw it too. They were like, no, either I'm really delirious too from exhaustion, or those are real, because it was so beautiful. And I'd never seen anything like it. But it's absolutely a beautiful experience. And I ended Friday just feeling like, there is a lot of discomfort in life. There is a lot of, I don't want to do that. There is a whole lot of opportunity to resign and step away from opportunity, or from work, or from situations. I mean, it could be relationships, it could be with kids, it could be with job, it could be with your parents, siblings, neighbor, spouse. It could be plenty of opportunities to resign and do the comfortable thing. And I realized as I laid down that all the beauty, all the joy and feeling of success and excitement and experience happens on the other side of discomfort. And it just really encouraged me to dive in when I feel no, I don't want to do that, to instead go, nope, Paxon. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So I'm gonna wind down and conclude with this. Where in life have you been feeling resigned or like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Where in life does that happen? Does it happen with your kids? Does it happen with your parents? Does it happen at work? Is it like, I don't want to start my own business. I don't want to write that book. I don't want to do that home improvement job. I don't want to go to counseling. I don't want to lead. Where is it? What is it? And then ask yourself, what does it look like to take that next step? Paxon. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
But we are headed off to dinner after taking a lousing and a dousing, a delousing into the lake. We got fully submerged, sat in it till we were numb, came out, get all bundled up for bedtime. Now, join us for dinner.